Welcome to episode 3 of Under the Hard Hat Behind the Mask. This week we're delving into the problems females face in construction, and I'm delighted to welcome these two. If you could please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Rianne Scott from Atlas Facilities.
And I'm Robyn Bone from Kingsley Roofing Services.
So as we've been developing this podcast and talking about the stresses in construction, but I just want to talk to you two first about really how you got into it, how you got involved. Obviously, I do know some of your story, Robyn, being my wife. I know a little bit about Rianne, but I want to just really delve into how you got involved in it and how you got to where you are in construction, really. If we start with yourself, Rianne.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So I've probably been in the construction industry now over 24, 25 years. Started in the asbestos industry back in 2003. When I moved up to Northamptonshire down to Northamptonshire from Grimsby. You probably get a slight northern twang there.
Just a slide.
Just a slight one. So I'd always worked public sector, with the council, and then I moved into the asbestos industry in 2003, which was my kind of first insight into construction. And even back then, the asbestos industry very, very much male dominated, especially out on site. And I progressed from administration up to client liaison, and then back in 2008 we decided to set up our own business, again within the asbestos surveying and removal sector, and again very much out on site, client facing, within the construction sites, refurbishment sites, anything like that really. So very much out on site,
which is, like you say,
yeah.
it's very male dominated, particularly out on site. When was that, 2008?
Yeah, so 2008, and then obviously up to present day. I left the asbestos industry, I suppose, directly back in 2022. So this will be my 4th year working within the facilities management, building maintenance and reactive maintenance sector. Yeah. But still construction. So
construction. Yeah.
So still in that industry, which I love. I love the diversity. I love the change day to day, the reactiveness of
the change or the problems.
Change, and the solutions that come with
I like
the challenges that we have.
The challenges,
yes.
the daily challenges.
And that we have as business owners as challenges, yes, very much so.
Yeah. No, yeah, and yourself, Robyn? Forced into it?
I'm a little forced into it, obviously, through you. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, how many years have I been sort of working alongside you? About 8, I think.
I think it's about 8 years now, yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And you've gone from, like Rianne said, from that administrative role to you're really running the back end of everything now, aren't you? Keeping everyone else organised.
Yeah. Trying to keep you guys organised, but yeah.
And I suppose that's had its own challenges from a role that you're not naturally, and you just sort of walked into it and had to develop into it as you go.
When I first started, I felt well out of place. So, yeah, quite out of place. Obviously, mainly men roofing, you know. There's not a lot of women. But yeah, I think working alongside you made it easier to because I've got that friend there, you know, someone that I can ask questions about stuff and learn as I'm working.
Not give you answers, but you can ask questions.
Without judgment, I suppose, as well. I think that's
because he understands that I've been sort of chucked into it. As much as I want to grow the company and I'm, putting 100% in, it's still nothing that I've done before. So it's really, it's really out there for me. But yeah, I've enjoyed working over the years.
And I do think that's how a lot of women can get into construction. Their partners. I started the firm about 10 years ago, and then it starts off, can you just send that invoice for me?
Yeah.
Can you just do this? Don't tell you how to do it. Absolutely, just do that, order them materials, or book that customer in, and before you know it, you're doing your day job, and then you're working in the evening doing that, which I used to do, but I didn't want to do it, so it sort of gets passed over. Next thing,
passed it to me.
I've said this to a few people, the business can probably work without me for a little while, but you take Robyn out of it for 2 days and it all falls apart because you do sort of, and I think that is a lot of husband-wife partnerships the husband take that bit for granted sometimes, I think, and that can be difficult. Obviously, it creates arguments at home. I know you had a similar sort of start up to that as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
We briefly spoke about it earlier.
So me, we're husband and wife. We started the business up in 2008. We had a 3-month-old baby at the time, so we'd gone both from quite high-paying salaries to taking a loan out to set the business up. And we both worked in the business full time. My husband at the time took a salary. I worked for the first 3 years in the business for nothing.
Probably nodding there.
And you do, when you've got a business together, it is about kind of working together and building that, and you look at the bigger picture and you look at the long-term goals and what have you. And so for the first year I didn't take a salary, full-time in the business, but also full-time mum as well, and a new mum. And then after 3 years, I had my second child. So by this point I have two children.
Started getting paid then, I hope.
Well, I did get paid, but actually my childcare costs were, I think, £1,200 a month for both boys to be in full-time childcare, and I think I got paid £1,100 a month. So I think actually I was on a negative. I was working for free, and actually it was costing me to work within my own business, which is the nature of the beast, and it's always going to sometimes be like that. But if you're passionate about something and you enjoy what you do, then I think, and I don't regret that at all.
No, I don't think you can you? You wouldn't continue doing it.
No, of course not, definitely not. And I still enjoyed that, and we invested that time and everything for it, and we wanted to grow something, which we did. And
you want the rewards at the end, and it does take that. We discussed it on the last episode. If people that go into business thinking, I want to work my own hours, I want to do this, it's like, that's a dream. Like, you've got to put everything into it. And when it is a husband, wife working as well, did you find I know we have, sometimes you take them pressures home. Yeah, and it creates not a nice environment there.
Yeah, I think we were quite good at not doing that. We'd always worked together, so we knew no different.
Because you worked together previously as well.
So whereas you two perhaps had separate jobs, but we met through work. So we'd always work together.
Made that transition a bit easier.
And then when we went so then when we set up the business together, we were quite good at not taking business home. Don't get me wrong. When you are business owners, there's always the stress and the anxiety, and you do take certain things, but we tended to what kind of went on at work stayed at work. From the day-to-day operational running of stuff.
Not discussing things.
And then obviously as you take your first staff member on and then you take more and more people on, obviously those challenges become more and those conversations become more because the operational side is not just you two anymore, it becomes about other people, and you've probably found that as you've grown as well.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things was not taking it home, weren't it? Especially if I, not so much yourself, you're quite good at not, but if I had a bad day, I'd take it home.
I think, it's more if you have a bad day and then like we have a disagreement in the office, I don't take it home, but I feel sometimes you have, and it's just had that, you just feel it at home slightly. So tried not to throw his dinner at him some evenings.
Or poison it.
Poison it.
Yeah, I think it is. Them relationships are difficult on their own, and let alone, I know you're a huge advocate, Rianne, you do a lot for women in construction. How have you found that? Has it changed over the years? Like, say, you've been in it about 8 years, haven't you, Robyn? And you've been in it obviously a lot longer, Rianne. How have you found it's changed over the years? Is there still struggles with that?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate within my industry career within the construction. I've had really supportive and strong male allies over the last 25 years. I have had stereotyping of one being a woman, one being a business owner, and 3 being in construction. I think all 3 of those things can be challenging. But I have had strong male allies, and I have had huge successes. And I think it's about building that profile, building that brand, and being credible in the service that you're delivering. I think that's been important, and I know certainly, I mean, for 10 years I was networking in London, and I still have a big presence in London, and I think if you can prove your skill set and your technical ability within your chosen discipline, then you can hold your own. And it is about being kind of confident, and sometimes you can underestimate your technical ability. You think, well, I'm not a roofer, so how do I know that? But actually you will have picked up so much, and you will know so much more than even me on certain things without even knowing. And I think you've got to sometimes just be a bit more confident and have a bit more self-esteem about, and I'm saying that, but I'm equally as guilty of that as well.
I think you've just summed up perfectly what you said about the roofing. You come into it not knowing what you're doing, but now it's like, oh, that's a ridge tile, that's the verge, and so you can answer some questions now without coming to myself or Dale. How have you found that side of it, Robyn? Has it been, I know Rianne's known for a lot of networking out. You've done a lot of networking before as well. I know you don't do it anymore. I didn't enjoy it as much.
Didn't enjoy it as much as you, Rianne, no. I think it is quite hard. Like when I first started, I was just obviously in the office, people were ringing going, oh, I need this looking at, that looking at, and I had no idea what they were asking for, so I did have to sort of learn the basics of, you know, the materials, what things were and stuff. And I still sometimes when people ring now, I'm like, oh, okay, write that down and have to double check with you what it is, or if we do that, or but a lot of it now I think I've nailed it. I say that, but probably not. But
I think it's the confidence.
You touched on it, confidence as well, because you come across as very confident. Have you always been like that, or is it a skill you sort of developed?
No, and I still don't think I'm confident now. I mean, like, people will go, oh, you're so confident, or you and I'm like, I hate confrontation. I hate public speaking as much as everybody will say.
No, I'm not having that.
I'm sitting
Chanel's
here
laughing in the background.
I know, and it is something that you do have to push yourself out your comfort zone to do. I mean, as you all know, I've just come back from in Cannes at the MIPIM Real Estate Conference, and before that I hosted a networking event. We had probably about 210 people in the room, and to stand up in front of those people and talk with the mic, I mean, my co-host Derry, he said, well, do you want me to? I was like, no, it's fine, I'll do it. And because I do have to push myself to do that, and how I talk and how I portray to myself thinking about it is perhaps not what people who are watching or listening perhaps get from that. And I think I suffer massively with imposter syndrome all the time. I mean, I'm not good enough to be that person or be on that board or be a committee or be a trustee of a foundation, and all of these different things, or worthy of that role or that award and things like that. And I think you've just got to it's about self-belief, and it is hard. And it's not just about being a woman. It's that's just any person. Same thing. Yeah, of course. Same thing, sort of regardless. And touching on the imposter syndrome, I think anyone who's either in business, whether that's working for someone or running a firm, at that higher level, I think they all suffer with that to an extent, because you sort of, I don't know about yourself, but you sort of just fall into it. You think, oh, I'll take that project on, we'll do that, and you just grow slowly. You don't start off, I just started off fixing roofs, and then before you know it, like say, you're taking on your first staff member. I think your original business, or did that get up to about 80 staff at one point, was it? I think we probably had about 60 to 70 when I left the business. I exited the business in 2022. I think we were up to probably 60 to 70 people, something like that. It has grown, I think.
And that's when I think the stresses come in. When you start getting a lot of people involved, that's when it can start getting stressful, dealing with multiple, because you take on other people's problems as well. You sort of have to. They're your staff. You're trying to guide them the best you can, but you're sort of taking on them challenges, and they can be the biggest headache sometimes. Some are absolutely fantastic, but you can, to go through 60 staff, I'm guessing you might have employed over 100 to get the right ones, because you have to filter through them.
And then there's so many different roles within the business that you have to kind of be considerate of, and so like your HR and your finance and all of those different things that all of a sudden need to become a factor within a business, that when you're probably 5 to 10 of you, you don't need to factor that too much in.
Yeah.
And as you grow,
Yeah.
it becomes
Yeah.
a lot more challenging in those
Yes,
respects.
the bigger you get, the more headache it gets, really. That's the
And-
sort of stage we're at now. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
do we want to push to that next level, or are we quite comfortable where we are?
Yeah, and
it's
that's the
working
thing.
it out.
Yeah, it is. You get up to a certain, I mean, we got up to 5 million when I was still at my old business, and then starting again for me back a year ago with Atlas, and now kind of being vested in Atlas and growing that. So where we are now is where I was with Oracle probably 10 years ago.
Oh, wow,
so all of a sudden we're on this journey again, and it's great because like,
do you enjoy that journey?
There's that stuff that you know about and that you've learned, and me and Adam, who's like the original owner, he's like really receptive to new ideas and bringing ideas into the business, and that's like been part of the growth and the journey. So and we're at that place now where we need to take on external HR, we need to take on, we look at the IT, we need to look at the policies and the procedures and the processes and stuff to get us, because what got us here won't get us there, and I'm a big believer in that. And
we've had conversations about that.
It's all right,
before,
we've got to this without it, we don't need it, and
but
then
you do. And I mean, I was talking with Jackie Elmore a couple of weeks ago. I remember I think it was about 7 years ago, I went in by Robyn another laptop. We had one laptop, so no, we're sharing it. And Jackie was like, you're like, we were nearly, I think we were coming close to £1 million business, and I refused to buy Robyn another laptop. We had to share it and book it out on the kitchen table. It's like, no, I'm using it. And she was sitting there going, this is ridiculous. Like, but in my head, we didn't need 2 laptops, and it was 800 quid I didn't need to spend, which now I think we've got a spare laptop in there now, and it is ridiculous. I mean, but that does lead us into nicely sort of what issues, challenges, stresses have you faced along the way. We'll touch on yours in a minute, Robyn, but with yourself, Rianne, I know you've had a rebuild almost, haven't you? And how have you found that, or what issues or challenges have you found along the way? Not just in work, is there any personal, and how have you navigated them, really?
Yeah, so I suppose like kind of for 16 years I had a business, a support around me, had that the support of administration, finance, HR, everything.
But you weren't dealing with it.
So, and I had that within a business, and I had that support. And then when I left Oracle back in 2022, sorry, it was just me again. And it was like being back in that dining room. Well, I was physically back in the dining room by myself. I didn't have a 3-month-old, I had a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old. So with that came with its even more challenges, become like a single parent. Not the support was there, the dad was very supportive. We had an amicable separation, and it was fantastic that we had that dynamic. But that came with different challenges. All of a sudden I felt as though I'd started again, and I'd lost
Did it
everything.
feel like a step back?
It didn't at the time, but then probably 6 months, a year in, it was like, I have taken a massive step back, and so I had to kind of almost rebuild that brand and that self-confidence and do it. I was by myself at this point. Don't get me wrong, I had fantastic network, good friends and supports and everything from all over the different networks that I've got. So I wasn't alone in that sense. But then I did a consultancy for a couple of years, which I was doing, hosting events. I was doing some lead generation for people, was doing strategic connections for people, retained by certain clients. So I did that for a couple of years, but I felt quite lonely in that space, because I had 6 clients at one point, which was great, and I was out networking and I was at events and things like that, but I didn't have that support, that business support. And the other thing that I missed was getting the inquiry, quoting that inquiry, doing that job,
like the chase the sale.
That whole process, the operation behind it, I didn't have that, because if I was retained by you, Paul, you'd say to me, I'd say, right, okay, I've got a client, they want a roof, you'd go, right, brilliant, I'd do that introduction, and I'd step out of the way, and then I'd be like, okay, so
What am I doing now?
am I doing?
Yeah.
So then you go to the next one. I don't know how you got on with that client, whether you did the job. Do you know what I mean? Whether it led on to other things.
Yeah,
because
you just handed it.
I don't have an operational.
You like through the chase then.
I enjoyed that whole process. So, and that's where then, following conversations with Adam was like, look, I'm looking to build and get somebody to come in and build the business with me, help me kind of go to the next stage, next level, and so that challenge was there, and
that was the
difficult.
perfect opportunity to get back involved with
exactly
that, I suppose them early stages, like say when you're back on your kitchen dining room table, they're the hours as well that are the longest, because like say you haven't got the support behind you. It's why sort of Robyn joined us, because I didn't have any of that support. So it's like you're doing it in the evenings, you're out networking in the day, so your life, it is just work. That's it. Until you get that rest supporting you around it, it's very difficult to cram it all in a day, and it's very lonely as well. Like you say, it's just you. Yeah. So then, did you approach Adam, or did Adam approach you, or how did that work?
Adam was a client of mine when I had the asbestos company. We just kept in contact because we had a good relationship, and I wasn't, obviously again being a business owner, and then for by this point 17 years, it was going to be very difficult for me to go and work for somebody or work in a company. So I was given a different opportunity with Adam, share options, directorship. I mean, that didn't come straight away. I've obviously had to work within the business for that time. And so to go in there, and me and Adam were just chatting, and he was like, look, I think I've got an opportunity. And it was a big step for Adam, because I mean technically I still only work 3 days for Atlas, or work within the business 3 days. Yeah.
So feel like that, does it?
No, what day is it today? Because I do so much. I'm involved in other things like my worship for government constructors, and golf events.
I am going to book on them this year.
Yeah, with SPG. Yeah. So there were other things that I still had involvement with that I didn't want to step away from. And Adam understood that. Adam had followed my journey on LinkedIn. He'd seen what I was involved with.
The famous LinkedIn Rianne.
So he knew what I was involved with. So he knew, and I was very open up in front and said, look, I'm happy to come on board, and I'm happy to get kind of involved and take it to the next stage, but I need to be able to have the freedom to be able to do these things. Adam's not there to micromanage me. He knows I've got a vested interest. He knows that I'm part of like the team.
And when it works like that, you're not being micromanaged. It just, and like I say, you've got the experience of that growth as well, so it stops any pitfalls going forward. Course, and it seems like it's been a good work. We've done some work for you, and it seems like it's a good setup to have like that, and everybody's happy at the end of the day. At the end of the day, everyone just wants to earn some money and go home and be happy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's massively about service, speed, and delivery. And I know when we met, I was still obviously at Oracle. I think you approached me. I think
you put a BNI slip up.
I did.
You put a BNI. I was in BNI. I mean, I have rejoined BNI recently, but you put a BNI, the old referral slip up, and I was a member at the time. I was like, oh, and you met me straight away, because you're a big believer in BNI as well. I know that has mixed opinions, but it was great for our business. I absolutely loved it. We've rejoined it for the solar, and I know you was always a big advocate, and you reached out, you met me straight away, opened your client book, went, who do you want to speak to? And it was like, it sort of evolved. That was about 6 years ago, I think. Maybe longer.
It must have been, it must have been, and that's how we obviously got become connected. And then, I mean, as well with Oracle on the asbestos side, and then my RS Elite for a certain period was massively London based and national, and so for me as well, when I with Atlas, it's very geographically focused on Milton Keynes, Northampton, up to kind of Birmingham. We've now literally just about to open a Northwest office due to a new contract and things. So, but for me to kind of go from that national down to like Northamptonshire again, I had to kind of re-establish within that network as well. So
you're doing that for the football?
Football, cricket, and obviously just meeting the likes of yourselves and introductions to different networking and things, and I've enjoyed that. And
I think the Northampton business community, I actually had Tom Schoen from LRS Liquids.
Well, he's a constructor.
Yes, he is, and we use him a lot for our projects, and he met me at Bewitched the other week. him and Corey, and everyone was walking in and everyone's meeting each other saying hello. And he's like, is this what the business community's like here? He went, it seems fascinating. And they actually want to start coming down, and I've invited them to Prop Connect. They want to start getting involved in Northampton, which was, I found that fascinating, because I just thought this was in every town.
No.
But it seems very heavily linked to sport, and obviously we've got Prop Connect now, and it just seems, it's a great, as you said, a support network as well. Matt Abraham touched on it last episode. It's just a great support network as well. You can always reach out. So I spoke to yourself, didn't I? I had roughly a year last year, and that's when you told me about some of your problems, and that's why it would be great to have Rianne to discuss it. And I think we are lucky to have that in Northampton. Chanel's loving it as well, aren't you? Getting too much work from it now.
It's great. It's a real, and I mean, the networking as a whole works for me. It doesn't work for everybody.
No.
It is a necessary evil for some people, and I totally get that. It can drain people and it can be mentally exhausting. And there is a fine line of what do you go to. I mean, there was a time where I'd probably go to an opening of a paper envelope. I could be at like probably 4 or 5 events in a day, let alone a week.
That's hardcore. That is hardcore.
I mean, and that's what MIPIM is in cans. That is networking on steroids, and that is how I do describe it to people. But you do have to take a step back from it and make sure that you are what you're attending, and the follow-up is important. You can go to these networking events and stuff, but if you're not,
you've got to follow up. It's not just about chucking your beer. People do business with people they like. It's simple as that. And if you follow up, and I don't know about yourself, I'm not one of them. I'll follow up once or twice. If they don't reply, that's fine. We're probably not a good fit for each other, because you've got to like the person you're doing business with, and it's that's the only way for me that you can do business, really. You've got to get on. But no, and then yourself, Robyn, issues or challenges you've faced over the years. You can't include me. No, you can. I want you to be honest.
Both an issue and a challenge.
Issues and challenges. There's been a few. Self-confidence has probably been my biggest, I think. You spoke about like feeling a bit like an imposter. That was definitely me at the beginning. It probably still is some days. But
like how I ended up here. Because you're a director of the business as well, and it's like what you do in the back end is unreal. No, sometimes I don't think a lot of females that do the back end, that they just do it without any thanks, credit or anything. And without them, like I say, the business can fall apart sometimes.
So like I said, self-confidence was a huge one when I first started. I mean, I come to work for you, but I was on maternity leave, was very poorly, and didn't want to go back to that job. You started needing me more and more, so I come into that. But after I was ill, my self-confidence had disappeared.
That had a massive effect on you.
I feel like I didn't go out very much.
3-week-old baby. Now, difficult time all round. We didn't care about business to an extent, but your confidence on them was very low, and that's when we discussed what you used to talk about.
When it happened, I was 27, so I was very young anyway, having to go through, having my 3rd child, 2 weeks after, cardiac arrest, heart attack, all that. And then I spent a little while in hospital, came out. I think I had a bit of postnatal depression because all that had happened, and I was like, why me? What have I done to deserve that? But got over it. But then when it was time for, obviously, little Rosie to go off to nursery and whatever, I felt like then I had to do something then. I couldn't just sit at home. Rosie didn't need me that much. She was at nursery now for a few hours, and then you obviously suggested B&I doing that. That was
literally, it was to build confidence. We discussed it with Jackie Elmore again, didn't we?
It was more to build my confidence.
It wasn't to generate work. No. I'd been a member for about 2 or 3 years, I think, and said, Robyn, I think this will be good. I took Robyn to visit a meeting, and standing up, talking in front, as you said, she had to talk up.
Awful. 60 seconds, the dreaded 60 seconds. Horrible. Your palms start sweating as it comes round to you.
And you was in the biggest chapter in Northampton at the time. It had 50 odd members, didn't it? And then for those that don't know, you also do a 10-minute presentation. And I come to support you on that, didn't I?
Well, it went alright. Everyone was like you said, inside you're absolutely falling apart, but you're up there and you're doing it, and people are like, oh, you didn't look nervous at all, and I was like, I definitely was.
I think the heckle from me.
how was I hindered?
So there was questions at the end, and the question was, how far do you go? And what did I shout out?
I shouted
all the way. So that maybe didn't help.
Did it break the ice or
Yeah.
That made, but you done it, and you was at it for about 4 years, weren't you, in total?
Yeah, so
And
that helped me learn more about roofing, obviously, because I'm talking
Of
about
course
it.
it was. I didn't
And the
think of that,
imposter
yeah.
syndrome, when I walked into that room, it was overwhelming some mornings, because obviously everyone's there, they're, you know, the best in their trades, and they're running their own businesses, and then I walk in and I am running a roofing business and I know nothing about roofing.
Or
Me
you
neither.
don't think you do.
Well,
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's it,
I
yeah.
don't think I do.
You don't think you know certain
But then,
things.
yeah, so I had to sort of learn, I had to learn a lot quite quickly to overcome that a little bit for myself.
Yeah.
Because people go, oh, do you do this? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to learn quite a bit just to feel okay in that room when they asked me questions, or had to do a 10 minutes talk about roofing for 10 minutes and I know nothing. You know.
But I think, like I say, I think you done amazing while you were there, and obviously I'd come and support where I could. But I really do think that helped with your confidence coming out of that, and even leading into the role you're in now. I know you're not a fan of networking in general, and you prefer to leave that to. You still do come out and you'll talk to people and meet people, but you don't sort of want to get back involved in that. You're quite happy not getting involved in it anymore. But I think it was the right thing to do at the time for that confidence boosting.
Yeah. It was, and we visited like quite a few different networking things, and although that was the one with the most people in it and probably the most daunting, I found that everyone made me feel welcome, and I feel like that's the important bit in it all. Yeah.
And I think that just made such a huge difference to how you was after, because I hope you don't mind me saying, obviously after it all happened, you was like, why me? I think everyone thought that. I mean, we got called in to say goodbye to you, and then after that you was on antidepressants for a little while, wasn't you? And then but you phased them out while doing the B&R network, while building a business.
Yeah.
And I think
3 kids.
And 3 kids, yeah.
Doubtful.
I'll definitely agree with that. And that, touching on that, I do want to know what it's like to work with me. Do you want to live stream
I was
this?
going to say.
Chanel's
I
face.
didn't realise that was a question. But,
No, I want it to be honest. Wanker.
What is it like to work with you? Sometimes it's nice. I come into the office and, you know, we have a great day, but other days it can be very challenging. I mean, if you're having a bad day or you know, just something's not happening right on site, it's like I sit there and I'm like, just be quiet. Don't don't talk to him today. But most of the time it's fine. I mean, you are good at what you do, and
Thank you.
I think you are, yeah.
I'm never as good at everyone.
Yeah, no, you are good at what you do. You handle challenges like a boss, you do. But sometimes you need someone to vent at, and I think everyone in the office, if something bad's going on, it's like headphones in, and then you just rant a little bit and get it out your system.
Get it over, yeah, I do. It's something I'm working on. I do like to have a good rant, but once it's out of the system, it's done. A motto we have at Kings of Roofing is no problems, only solutions. We do it. Everyone has problems. And for anyone that says, "Oh, we don't have problems on site," do you actually work on a site? But it's finding that solution. We've got some of our best clients. We've had massive problems, whether it's through our fault or somebody else's fault. But it's providing that solution to the problem that's there, and that is one thing I do like to think. And that's not just at work, at home as well. We have problems, and look, we need a solution. There's no point in moping about it. You need a solution to get over it. You did before the podcast started. We were talking briefly about earlier with Rianne. I don't know if you've felt it, but when you're out on that networking team, you've often said sometimes you felt a bit overlooked when you're introducing yourself as a female. You can I talk to the boss? Did you ever have that anywhere, Robyn? Or
yeah, I probably have.
Can I speak to Paul? And it's a bit like, I know you've had it on the telephone. I've heard it when customers. Yes.
Yeah, on the telephone. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, well, is there a roofer available?" And I'm like, "Well, at this stage, I can help you." And they're like, "Oh, I want to talk about that." So, well, we can talk about that if you want to. You know.
So that's confidence, though. You say you still, and that's confidence to be able to have that conversation with a customer. But say, "No, I can help."
Sometimes it can be other businesses ringing in for the first time that don't know us. And they're like, "Oh, well, I want to discuss this project. You know, it's a large project." And I'm like, "That's okay. We can discuss it." And they're like, "Yeah, but."
That seems confident.
Basically, what they want to say is, I want to speak to a man.
I want to speak to a man.
And that's what it is. Have you had the same thing?
I had exactly that in we used to joke about it because we used to have like the VoIP telephone system where people's numbers would come up and you would start to recognise clients' numbers that would phone in and things. And there was this one chap, an oldish guy, must have been in his like 70s even back then, like probably 15 years ago. And he used to phone the office, and the first time he ever phoned, I answered because I always wanted. I had 20 people in the office, but I always wanted to be that person.
That sale, get that sale.
I wanted to know. It was my company, and I wanted to know who was on the phone, and where they'd got our details from and stuff, and that having that passion about your own business. And this chap I said, he said, I'm looking to get an asbestos survey done. I was like, yeah, I can help you with that. And he was like, well, no, I need to speak to somebody else. I was like, but you want an asbestos survey? Yes, I can help with that. One of the directors, one of the owners. Well, yeah, but is there not somebody else there that can help me? And I was like, well, there is, but they won't be able to help you any more or less than I can. And he was like, well, is there a man there that I could speak to?
Actually come out of it.
And in the end, I'd kind of admitted defeat. I thought, I'm not going to be that person that's going to dig my heels in and like be like a princess about it and go, well, no, I can. Do you know what I mean? I was like, come on.
Put a husky voice on the phone.
So I put it on, and I shouted across the office, said, I think it was in Mark or Adam who was in the office at the time, and I just said, look, this guy won't speak to me. I'm not going to lose a sale by just being precious about it. Can one of you guys pick this inquiry up? And they did, and that guy ended up working with us probably for 3 or 4 years or whatever.
Oh, really?
And we got all
Have
his
a laugh
work.
about it afterwards
But
as
if
well.
he would phone the office, I'd be like, Adam, this is what, or Mark, this is one for you. He's not going to speak to me. You might as well just answer the phone from the get-go. Do you know what I mean?
That's brilliant.
So, you just got to accept
it's
it.
salespeople as well though, because I've had people ring in the office, like scaffold companies. They're like, they ring, we're in a scaffolding company, go say what they've got to say, and then they're like, well, can I speak to the boss, please? And I'm like,
I'm the boss.
that's right. Don't say that at first, and then they're not rude, but they're like, oh yeah, but I would much rather, and they don't think that you're sort of that important, because
which is crazy because you're one of the decision makers.
Just
because you've answered the phone, and it's like it's a very naive
their attitudes do change very quickly when they say, oh, he was as a director there. I'm like, yeah, you're speaking to one, and it's like, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh well, and then they start talking, and then by then they've already blown it, sort of thing.
It's got back up. And then, like you say, I think there is a fine line between not digging your heels in for the sale. But especially if someone's trying to sell to you, it's like, really, come on, have a. But I do think the industry is changing for the better in that way. Do you find it at face-to-face events as well, or not so much? I mean, you're known for networking now, but in the earlier days, I suppose.
Yeah, I very much remember my very first networking event in London, probably 2018. And I joke with the guy, and I always use him as an example, and he knows it. I remember networking in London, very first time I'd got there. I'd got the train from Bedford. It absolutely chucked it down the rain. I've got really curly hair, so I walked in just like feeling like a frazzled rat. I was like, it was just the most horrific thing ever, trying to walk into this room full of people that I didn't know. And after a little while, I kind of calmed down, probably had a glass of wine at that point, and nerves went down a little bit. Got chatting to this chap and explaining what we did and everything. And I remember him kind of like looking to the side of me and thinking, you could see he was like unengaged
you can
now.
Feel it,
and he was like, well, lovely to meet you, Rianne. He said, get your boss to give me a ring, and we'll see if there's some work that we can do together. And it made me realise very quickly that I needed to change my, not sales pitch, because I don't do a sales pitch. And in fact, I'm probably known for not actually telling anybody what I do until I've found out about you and who you are and what you do. But I thought actually I need to change in how I present myself. Not
first impressions.
So then from there
everything is first impressions. I don't care what anybody says. Everything. I think they say people make a decision in like 7 seconds, and it is the way it is. Unfortunately, you can't
I would
change
then my introduction. I was like, hi, I'm Rianne Scott. I'm from Oracle Asbestos. I'm an owner of a business, or throw in there very quickly that it's your business, so that people, and they shouldn't need to, but that you are serious about it, because a lot of the time people will send business development people to networking, but equally there are a lot of, and you both know from the networking that you guys do, that most of the time it is the business owners that are there, because I do feel that they're the biggest people that can give passion about their business.
I also, I don't know, but I enjoy it. If the BDM, I don't think we'd ever employ BDM, because one, I just love it, and I don't want anyone else to do it. Like I say, you're the one that's passionate about it, and like I say, I'm there to meet people and build the relationship. If work comes out of it, great. If it don't, I've still had a good day out.
Got you out of the office.
It got me out of the office. I'm known for not wanting to be in the office. But that's what I want eventually, is my role just to be out networking, meeting people. At the minute I'm still pricing and whatnot, but eventually that's all I want my role to be. Because I enjoy it. And like, the thing is, you don't want to go everyone here, there. I stick to, I think, 3 events, and that's all I do now. But I enjoy my client ends. I do a lot of client entertainment. I love that side of it. And eventually that's all I want to do. I mean, that does lead us on nicely. What's next for you both in business and personally? We'll start with yourself, Rianne.
So for me, just continuing to grow the brand and the profile of Atlas Facilities. Both me and my partner both work in the business. Steve works in the business as well. So
suit man.
The suit and shirt man. So for the 3 of us as directors, me, Adam and Steve, we're looking to kind of grow the business, raise the profile. We've just signed a deal with the Northampton Cricket for this year on partnership sponsorship. We've got a few match day things that we're doing there. So it's for us to kind of like put our head above the parapet and start kind of building on a lot of existing relationships that we've got, and developing those client relationships, developing our supplier partnerships as well. We've for me, our business does rely an element of subcontracted labour. We do have our own in-house team. There's like 12 guys that we've got that are employed by us that deliver the projects and everything, and the PPMs and things. But we do also, because of the nature of our business, heavily rely on our suppliers. And Paul, you're obviously one of those people, along with a lot of people, and we're trying to keep it local as well, and build those relationships. And those, we're not going to do business with everybody, and as we spoke about literally just before this, it is about relationships. People buy from people, and just because the businesses might not align, you still might have those friendships and those connections that you still keep in contact with, but you might not do business with, but they might align with other people. So for me, it's just about continuing developing those relationships. My community within London is still a big factor for me, because of my worshipful company of constructors livery that I'm involved with. I'm also working with Construction for Women and the national site, and the national site standard that's just come in and been put through Parliament for women on construction sites as well. So I'm working with Renee Preston on that, and just about to become a chair for Milton Keynes and Northampton.
You're busy
on that. So so I've swapped a hat for another one. So, and that's why I still try and keep obviously active within those spaces and keep those days.
On top of that, you've become a trustee of the Tempio Foundation as well, just to throw an extra mix in.
Jonathan and Michael, so Tempio Foundation trustee. So again, that's a good community-led charity for us, and we're looking to raise the profile with that, both through the Northamptonshire cricket and through the football and other avenues as well. So we've got obviously the charity event in May as well. So there's loads going on in that.
So you haven't got time for much personally, then, really, have you?
No,
bit of golf. You're picking up the golf clubs again.
The golf clubs are back out. We've obviously got the Tempio Foundation
charity
golf day coming
up.
Event in July. Well, it's obviously a Kingsley Roofing golf day.
That's going to be a good day.
Supporting our charity, so thank you for that. And then also involved with Chris Stanton on the SPG golf days.
The SPG. We'll get a link out for them, because they're good. Every year I keep saying I'm coming, and I'll never come.
No.
But I'm looking forward to them, because they are good days as well.
Yeah, they start in April.
There's some nice courses.
I've been back up at Pytchley last night doing some lessons and things. So
it's not been a nice winter to play through. So I haven't played at all for this winter.
I'm not afraid to say I'm a fair weather golfer.
100%.
You ain't getting me traipsing through mud and rain and stuff. So I'll sat that one out.
What about for yourself, Robyn? What's next? Get rid of me?
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
She was just singing praises a minute.
I'm laughing at it.
Yeah, that's the first. Get rid of you. No. I don't really know, within the business.
You just sort of take it as it comes, aren't you?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll do that. No, I don't want to do that.
Like, you know.
I know long term you're not keen on the finance side of the business,
No.
are you? You're not. You like dealing with customers. You like sort
Yeah,
of dealing
some
with suppliers.
yeah.
Some customers that will talk to us, a woman.
Yeah.
But we have discussed about getting
Finance
sort of
is
finance
something
in
that,
house, aren't we?
obviously, certain aspects of the finance I'd like to hand over.
You
to,
like invoicing, don't you, for some reason?
Yeah, that's probably the best part. Yeah,
It's the
invoicing.
debt chasing.
Yeah,
that's
don't
not
mind
so nice.
chasing them either.
Oh, that's all right then.
I'll be happy
Yeah,
to keep doing. Yeah, probably someone else in the office helping me day to day do stuff that.
Yeah. Because it's getting to that stage now
Yeah.
where sort of you need that support.
Yeah.
We're just working out what days are needed for it. We've been discussing it for about 6 months now, haven't
Yeah.
It's a
But by the
fine
time
one,
it comes
isn't
round to getting somewhere, and our daughter's probably old enough to come in.
we?
So.
Well, there is that option, yeah.
So, and I know.
In fact, I'm going to wait now because they'll be free
Yeah.
for another year as well.
Yeah.
So I won't have to pay them.
No.
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they cost us a
Yeah.
fortune anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about personally? Now, you can't say get rid of me here.
No, I wouldn't get rid of you. Personally,
Fancy a game of golf, Robyn?
Oh, she's got some golf clubs.
Come on.
no, I've got golf clubs because you brought me them so that I could play golf with Rosie, and I'm not being beat by a 9-year-old. So, yeah, so
No, because I think
Come at the
that
driving range. The driving
Yeah,
ladies
you
golf.
do like the driving range, didn't you? 'Cause,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
more
the reason the golf got brought
fun.
in is because with your heart condition, it was like a gentle way
Yeah.
to exercise.
yeah.
But you're not. I wouldn't say you're a sporty person, are you?
No.
You like the cobblers a lot now.
I like watching the football. That's not playing. That's right. Yeah, I don't mind watching.
Supporting
Yeah,
the
watching.
sports.
Supporting,
Yeah, that was your main thing. You do enjoy
No.
sort of being at home with the kids.
I like
don't
being.
you?
at
You
home
like
with
being a
kids,
mum.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, and obviously, if my heart had behaved itself, I probably would have at least probably 4 or 5 kids. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so
no. I've done
Yeah,
it
we would
too.
have. I think. I think
Yeah.
we'd have had 5.
yeah,
I'm
probably.
not. I'm not going to say I'm glad you had a heart attack. 'Cause I'm not.
No, but yeah,
I'm happy with 3.
Yeah.
I do say that to your mum. Like you got out of it from
Yeah.
me having a heart attack and not being able to have any other kids. But yeah, 3's plenty for most and for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah, they keep us
Yeah,
busy.
no, my 2 boys are enough for me, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17 and 14 now, so
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it was
comes
the first
with
time.
different
Was
challenges.
it?
Yeah.
Was it Vinny the older one?
Vinny's the younger one.
The younger one? Because
yeah.
it was when we come to the football for all them years
Yeah,
ago. That was
yeah.
a long time ago, wasn't it?
Oh, well, Frank came the
Frank,
first
that was
time.
it. Yeah, and then
Frank.
he's been going ever since,
So,
hasn't he?
yeah, he got a season
Up in the West
ticket at
Stand.
the West Stand,
Oh.
yeah. So he's and he still goes when he works and stuff
Yeah.
now, and
Nice.
and they still obviously come to some of the days and
Yeah,
things as well,
yeah.
so which is good.
Rianne, I'll just ask you this one. Is there anyone you'd like to connect with, collaborate, or just give a shout out to? Is there anyone you're looking to connect with?
No, just continuing obviously the networking in Northampton and looking to build on existing relationships, build new relationships, and if really for me it's if I can help anybody with my extensive network really, and if people
Yeah.
are looking for introductions and things
I think that's
like
one
that,
thing you
then-
are great at.
So-
You're very supportive. Oh, here's an introduction here. Especially if someone's growing a business. Obviously, you do like to get to know them first. You're not just going to recommend people
of course,
out.
yeah.
But if you're seeing they're doing a good job, you will happily recommend people out.
I'm a firm believer in collaboration over
Yeah.
competition. It's a
Oh, yeah,
big
100%.
thing for me, and I'm not one of these people that stands in the room and go, oh well, no, you can't do anything for me and I can't do anything
Yeah.
for you.
There's
It's not-
always something.
There's something.
We work with so many other roofers. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
And there's always something you can do together, whatever it
Yeah.
is. But people just don't look for it. But I do think B&I did have a good teaching of that to me
Yeah,
as
of
well. I know
course.
they have lockout in there, but you can always collaborate with someone.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. No, I definitely do, and I think that if you can help people in that respect, then I'm all for it. I mean, people message me all the time, or could we get coffee in or something, and it might not be that they are either a potential client or a potential supplier, or But for me, if somebody's reached out to me because they feel as though I can give them something, whether it be mentorship or just a conversation or a bit of self-confidence or get into golf or get into whatever it might be, the livery or something like that, that if I can have that conversation, and you don't know who they know and who they might.
Yeah, you
don't.
And plus, it's just it's a pretty selfless thing to do. It is.
And it makes you feel good, doesn't it? Especially when you see someone take on a project that you've recommended. I feel good.
Yeah, I do.
It really does. Right, we always like to finish on a random question. So the question this week is, if you could master any skill overnight, what would it be? Robyn?
Oh, Jesus.
Roofing.
Roofing, yeah. I don't know, master any skill. Can be anything.
Anything you want.
I don't know, I'd probably like to speak different languages. If I could
Oh,
do
really?
that one, actually. Yeah.
Yourself, Rianne?
I like Robyn's one. I would like that, but I haven't got the patience or the concentration.
I don't want to learn. I just want to be able to have it.
I think I did Spanish for about 2 weeks on an open night, and then I got bored and was like, I can't learn this fast enough. I'm never going to learn it. I'm going to sack it off. And my son started learning Spanish for ages, and I loved listening to him.
Is it that Duolingo or something?
Yeah. So no, I do like that one. I think for me, and it would be upper body strength. I can't do a push up or a press up or a box jump.
We've got to get that on video.
So for me, I've kind of mentally challenged myself with, by the end of this year, and I should be able to do it considering my eldest son is doing personal training and sports fitness at college and as a degree. I want to be able to do a box jump and I want to be able to do a press up.
Just one.
So any skill in the world, you want to do one press up.
One press up is fine. I'll be happy with that. I don't. Or a press pull up as well. That's another thing as well. No.
For myself, it's got to be golf. I just want to be good at it. I'm terrible, but there we go. But thank you very much both for joining us.
Lessons with Rosie.
Have lessons with Rosie, yeah. But no, thank you very much both for joining us. And we'll see you on the next episode.